Hello everyone, my name is Scott. In this video I should be talking about one of my favourite television shows, Being Human. I should be looking at the show, how the show started and how it had an effect on British culture. Right, let's start at the beginning.
Everyone dies. Actually, can I start that again? Everyone deserves a death. I was going to die of old age.
The show was written by Toby Whitehouse, originally as a comedy. The show was created whilst Whitehouse was still working on his previous drama called This Life. The show's title is a clever play on words, as it describes the three housemates trying to be human beings and experiencing day-to-day matters. The show ran for 5 series, starting from 2009 until 2013. The main cast was only changed once. Like I said, it was originally conceived as a comedy, with the 3 characters sharing a flat together. The characters were not always supernatural. Mitchell was originally created as a sex addict. George had a severe anger management issues, and Annie was an arachnophobe. Whitehouse added the supernatural elements later as he felt it gave it more depth. He found what he thought the supernatural equivalent for each character was. Mitchell became a vampire full of seduction, George became a werewolf who was ashamed of what his actions were, and Annie became a ghost who could only be seen by other underworldly creatures.
For a vampire, death isn't the end.
As we can see in the opening title sequences, it introduces the characters and their afflictions and how they got them. Everyone except Annie.
Sorry.
So here we are. Overlooked and forgotten. Unnatural and supernatural. Watching the dance from the sidelines. At least I was surrounded by friends and family. At least I got that bit right. You know the worst thing about being a ghost? It's lonely. You'll give anything.
The show was able to produce adult themes such as sex, the use of cigarettes, and the show as well. Sex was a major part, especially with Mitchell, as he's a vampire. Seduction was easy to him to use. He used sex in many different ways, maybe for power, maybe for sometimes with lust, and obviously he experienced love in later seasons as well.
World of the dead. Even if it means turning them into monsters too. Then there are the ones like George.
George is my favourite character. I feel I can relate to him more,
The ones that should
and
have died.
he's probably the most human out of all of the characters. As he's a werewolf, his affliction only affects him once every month. They have a bit of a joke and they call it his time of the month,
They walk
which
away.
implies that he's a bit of a girl, or he's a girl going on a period.
What's the cost?
Again, he's a very strong-minded character. He's very emotional. He doesn't mind sharing his emotions. He's extremely intelligent, and he is probably the most caring person I've ever seen on the television screen. His love for Nina that we see later on in seasons grows and grows and grows to the point where he actually uses the curse, as he calls it, to his own advantage. And he channels that rage into aggression towards people who are trying to hurt the people he cares about.
So, what have we got left to look forward to?
This is the foundation of the first season. Who killed Annie and why? Annie is the main protagonist, although Mitchell and George are vital to the show as well. The first season is primarily based around finding out who or what killed Annie.
Maybe. If we still deserve such a thing as mercy, we find each other.
Human nature, being human, is to be cold and alone, like someone lost in the woods.
The pilot episode aired in 2008 on BBC Three. The only cast member that didn't change was Russell Tovey, who played George. Annie was originally white with a northern accent. She was played by Andrea Riseborough. Mitchell was originally played by Guy Flanagan. Personally, I think Whitehouse made the right choice in changing the cast members. Andrea Riseborough was replaced by Renola Critchlow, and Guy Flanagan was replaced by Aidan Turner. I felt the pilot episode actors didn't fit the parts well. I also felt like Guy Flanagan was too much of a stereotypical vampire, in a sense that he's very depressed, he speaks very softly, slowly and quietly. For me, that is just off-putting, because when you hear him speak, it just reminds me of Edward from The Twilight, played by Robert Pattinson, who, to be quite frank, is just irritating. This is the same for Guy Flanagan. Vampires are powerful creatures and are also going through hell. For me, they should be agitated and on the edge, which is why I feel Aidan Turner plays the character a lot better. The pilot episode itself wasn't widely renowned, and critics felt it lacked sex appeal and was boring. They felt that it wasn't going anywhere. However, in January 2009, the Daily Record reported that most critic reviews spoke very highly of the show, and a huge online petition helped drive the production of a full series.
I'm gonna shut up now.
The show itself was, like I said, originally derived as a comedy, and we see that through many different series. This is probably the funniest moment, in my opinion, in the first series, where we see Mitchell, Annie, and George discussing their problems in a way that Annie wants to represent themselves, and we also see Mitchell and George having a bit of a breakdown when the real hustle isn't on when the time they wanted it to be.
You know what? I think that we've all just lost sight of each other a bit. We need to team build. We need to bond.
Well, I'm not going to paintballing, not again. Not after last time.
We need to talk. So, George, you start.
Are you okay?
I've been better. You?
Likewise.
We should go out one night and just get hammered.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's it? That's how you share?
What more is there to say?
Yeah, he's feeling a bit down, which is pretty understandable, and I'm kind of stressed. We don't need to turn this into an episode of Oprah.
Exactly. File it and have discussed.
Hey, George, you want to watch The Real Hustle?
Oh, I'd really like that, actually. Women, you think you're such authorities, like the way you deal with emotions is the only way.
It's not on.
Yeah, it is. On at 10:30.
No, they've moved it.
No, you're kidding me.
Oh, I don't believe it.
No, I was looking forward to that.
10:30, Thursday. That's Real Hustle time. A fucking child knows that.
Can I not just have one good thing in my life?
It just drives me insane when they move stuff around.
Don't I deserve it? Don't I deserve one bloody crumb of happiness?
This is so what we're supposed to check? Every week, like we don't have anything else to do? Is it our responsibility? I mean, why is it down to us?
I saw a preview. They were going to do a con about cash points.
Really?
I would have loved that.
You bastards! Go! Yeah. I'm done watching them! Is everyone happy now?
The female representation of Annie changed from the pilot to the series. In the pilot episode, like I said, she was a northerner, which works okay. However, the way Andrea Riseborough played Annie seemed too serious and tense, whereas Annie is very much full of life. Annie herself is also very beautiful, and other characters know this. Some characters later on in the series tried to exploit this, as Annie herself is also quite shy.
You are loved. By loads of people. By me.
What?
I love you. I really love you.
Annie has started fighting.
Later on in the series, we have Nina, who's played by Sinead Keenan. Nina is also very headstrong. She says what she thinks. She's a nurse, which is where she meets George, as he works in the hospital too. But only as a porter, along with Mitchell, as they both don't want to draw attention to themselves for obvious reasons. The relationship George and Nina have together is, in my opinion, the very essence of the show. The show's title couldn't be more appropriate for the main characters. Being a human being isn't just living together and contributing to society. It's about love, compassion, and the relationship that George and Nina have together in the series reflects that perfectly, as Nina is a human in the show, and she's able to see past George's curse and love him for the person he is. Being human is completely unique, as most shows that feature vampires, ghosts, and werewolves usually depict them as scary and usually quite evil. It also strays away from the stereotypical gothic/emo persona that surrounds shows like these. However, although Being Human does have its fair share of scary moments, the creatures shown in the series always seem to be funny in their own way, as well as having a dramatic and dangerous side to them. The show itself becomes darker as the series goes on, and each series is even darker and funnier than its predecessor, as new characters and problems arise. In 2012, the main cast was changed, as a recurring character, Tom McNair, played by Michael Socha, replaced George as the werewolf, and a new character, Hal, replaced Mitchell as the vampire. Annie remained the only original cast member from the start. In 2013, however, the cast changed again, as another recurring character, Alex, replaced Annie as the ghost for the final series. The show has received a huge fan base in its creation, both in the UK and over in America. The show was first shown in BBC America back in 2009 after the first series had ended. It did so well over there that in 2011 an American version of the show was created, which was shown on Sci-Fi, which ran up until 2014. Because of the huge fan base, merchandising for novelty items such as fingerless gloves like Mitchell wears became popular again. The show was also good at showing the corrupted side of the powers that govern our country.